He was the best doctor at the hospital, kind, attentive, and generous. So when the hospital wanted to invest in new equipment, guess who they asked to be the face of it? Him. It seemed like a no-brainer. But what if he was the one sabotaging those machines? In today's episode of Crime Spree, we bring you a story of a man who abused his power for the sickest of kicks. Buckle up, because this ride is about to get bumpy. This is the doctor who made patients sick just for fun. This series is not for the faint of heart. Viewer discretion is advised. This video may contain disturbing content. If you continue to watch, you are confirming that you are 18 years of age or older. The year was 2013. The place, a community hospital in New York. And the star of our story was Dr. Riccardo Cruciani, an apparently exemplary neurologist with a charming demeanor and an impressive resume. He had been the chairman of the Department of Neurology at Mount Sinai Hospital for more than a decade and was a full professor of clinical neurology at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. To the hospital's board of directors, he was an invaluable asset. According to them, he saved lives, eased pain, and put smiles on patients' faces. For the media, he was the go-to guy on all things neurological, often appearing on television to expound on the latest health scares and treatments. He was also the poster boy for the hospital's fundraising drives. But behind closed doors, something else was happening. Something sinister, something dark. As of February 2016, over 30 former patients of Dr. Cruciani had filed lawsuits against him, alleging that he had groped them during medical exams. Most of the patients were wheelchair-bound, quadriplegics, making them easy targets. While allegations like these were serious, they were not new. In fact, the hospital had received multiple complaints about Dr. Cranston's behavior toward female patients, yet he continued to work there. Then came the lawsuit filed by Jennifer Farmer. She accused Dr. Cranston of inappropriately touching her during a spinal tap in 2014. But she also alleged something far more sinister. Just 2 weeks after the procedure, she had developed pneumonia, and her health had steadily declined since. Her lawyers argued that the doctor had used unsterilized equipment, causing her condition to worsen drastically. The case was settled out of court. The terms were confidential. Meanwhile, other patients were suffering too. Some of them didn't even know what hit them. Take the case of Noel Dunphy, for instance. She had been a patient at the hospital for almost a year. In December 2014, she underwent a risky surgery to remove a brain tumor. While the operation was considered successful, she never really recovered. Within months, she was bedridden. Then she started experiencing strange symptoms, excruciating headaches, seizures, and difficulty speaking. An MRI scan revealed the shocking truth. The tumor had returned, and it was growing fast. How could this be possible? The surgery had only been 6 months ago. Was it a botch? Had the tumor spread? Or had Dr. Cruciani intentionally allowed the tumor to grow? Another patient, 51-year-old Tracy Cutlol, had been suffering from cluster headaches for years. She visited the hospital in 2015 for treatment, but things took a turn for the worse soon after she met with Dr. Cranston. Within days, she was bedridden. Her vision started to deteriorate, and she experienced horrifying neurological symptoms. Again, an MRI revealed the shocking truth. Dr. Cruciani had accidentally punctured her brain with a needle during a procedure. It was so bad that he had to perform emergency surgery to fix his mistake. But despite all the damage he had caused, the hospital did not fire him. Instead, he was given a small pay raise and promoted to the title of Vice President of Quality and Safety. At this point, it's clear that something was very wrong with Dr. Cranston. But what was it? What kind of person would enjoy watching others suffer? When we think of psychopaths, we usually imagine dangerous, violent criminals. But the truth is that psychopaths can be anyone. They can be your neighbor, your friend, or even your doctor, that's right. Psychopathy isn't always obvious. Sometimes it can hide in plain sight. But don't worry, we're here to help you spot the signs. Here are some common traits of psychopathy. No. 1. Superficial charm. Psychopaths are often charming and charismatic, which can make it hard to see through them. They can be disarmingly polite and even seem likable at first glance. Number 2. Grandiose sense of self-worth. Psychopaths believe they are superior to others and that they deserve special treatment. They may brag about their accomplishments or talk down to those they perceive as inferior. Number 3. Lack of remorse or shame. One of the hallmarks of psychopathy is a lack of remorse or shame. Psychopaths do not feel guilty about their actions, even when they have done something wrong. They may even justify their behavior or blame others for their mistakes. Number 4. Impulsivity. Psychopaths are often impulsive and irresponsible. They may engage in risky behavior without thinking about the consequences and are more likely to break rules and engage in illegal activities. Number 5. Callous and lack of empathy. Psychopaths are typically callous and lack empathy. They are unable to understand or care about the feelings of others and may take advantage of people without remorse. So how many of these traits do you see in Dr. Cranston? We rest our case. Before delving into the dark world of medical malpractice horror, let's take a quick look at the healthcare system itself. Hospitals and clinics are designed to heal, to offer solace and hope for a brighter tomorrow. But what happens when these institutions fail in their primary purpose? When patients are subjected to substandard care, it's not just their physical health that suffers, but their trust in the system as well. It's a betrayal of the sacred oath that doctors swear to uphold. Medical malpractice cases are more complex than your average civil suit. They require a high degree of expertise to prove negligence and causation. Unlike other personal injury cases, establishing the standard of care is crucial. This involves demonstrating what a reasonably competent doctor would have done in a similar situation. Moreover, proving the breach of this standard is equally important. All these factors contribute to the complexity of medical malpractice litigation. As we continue to peel back the layers of Dr. Cranston's dark past, it's essential to consider the broader systemic issues at play. How did such a troubled individual manage to maintain his position for so long? What were the warning signs that were either missed or ignored? Understanding the complexities of medical malpractice and the systemic failures that allowed this horror to unfold will shed light on a larger problem within the healthcare industry. Now let's shift our focus to the victims of Dr. Cruchan's heinous acts. These individuals placed their trust in him, hoping for a cure or at least some relief from their ailments. However, they became prisoners of their own afflictions, trapped in a cycle of pain and despair. Imagine the physical toll on their bodies, the constant ache and discomfort that accompanies their conditions. But the emotional toll is equally devastating. Fear, anxiety, and hopelessness become their constant companions as they grapple with the realization that the person they trusted has caused them further harm. The psychological impact can be just as damaging as the physical wounds inflicted by Dr. Cruchan. It is a stark reminder of the human cost of medical negligence and the importance of accountability. We begin our tale with a horrifying incident involving a victim of Dr. Cruchan's, a woman who had been left paralyzed after a botched epidural injection. In his defense, Dr. Cruchan claimed that her paralysis resulted from an allergic reaction to the contrast dye used during the procedure. However, an MRI revealed the truth. Dr. Cruchan had injected the dye directly into the woman's spinal cord instead of her epidural space. Shocking, isn't it? But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Dr. Cruchan's pattern of inappropriate behavior dates back years. Back in 2010, A nurse practitioner had already filed a complaint against him for allegedly sticking needles in random places on patients, including one instance where he reportedly stuck a needle into a patient's head, claiming it was an acupuncture point. Despite such red flags, the hospital administration failed to take action. Rather than facing repercussions, Dr. Cruciani was promoted to Vice President of Quality and Safety, a position he held until January 2017. During this time, he continued to see patients, allegedly causing further harm. It wasn't until the hospital conducted an internal review following the news of his malpractice lawsuits that they discovered his appalling track record. The extent of his harmful actions shocked them. After reviewing over 300 of his patient charts, they found evidence of mistreatment in 30 of them. But the shocking revelations didn't stop there. The hospital uncovered another dark secret: Dr. Cruciani's history of disciplinary action from the New York State Board for Professional Medical Conduct. Despite having been fined $10,000 in 2012 for his needle fetish and improper touching of female patients, the hospital still employed him. It begs the question, what kind of person would knowingly engage in such harmful practices, and why? The answer lies in the chilling tale of narcissism, psychopathy, and medical misconduct. Meet Richard Bruce Cruciani, a name that has become synonymous with betrayal and horror. Born in 1964 in Queens, New York, little is known about his early life, but his stellar academic record hinted at a brilliant mind waiting to be unleashed. After completing his undergraduate studies at the University of Rochester, he went on to earn his medical degree from the State University of New York at Upstate Medical Center in 1990. He then completed his internship and residency in neurology at Albany Hospital, before joining the prestigious Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center as an assistant attending in the neurology department in 1994. By all accounts, Dr. Cruciani's career was on an upward trajectory. He was a rising star in the field of neurology, publishing numerous articles and presenting at conferences. But behind this veneer of success lurked a dark side, a sinister secret that would later come to light. In April 1997, Dr. Cruciani found himself in hot water when he was charged with raping a 17-year-old girl in his car. The shocking incident occurred after he had offered the teenager a ride home from school, but instead of taking her home, he drove her to an ATM, withdrew $300, gave it to her, and dropped her off at a secluded location where he then proceeded to assault her. The young victim bravely fought back and managed to escape from Dr. Cruciani's clutches. Disturbed by the gravity of the situation, the judge overseeing the case opted for a unique form of punishment, sentencing Dr. Cruciani to 6 months in jail and 5 years of probation. But perhaps even more significantly, he was ordered to undergo a comprehensive psychiatric evaluation. The results of this evaluation painted a chilling picture of a man struggling with severe mental health issues. Dr. Cruciani was diagnosed with several troubling conditions, including recurrent major depression, narcissistic character disorder, mixed depressive and psychotic disorder, and intermittent explosive disorder. This revelation raised alarming questions about his fitness to practice medicine. How could someone with such a troubled psychological profile be allowed to continue treating patients? Unfortunately, this dark chapter in Dr. Cruciani's life did not end there. In 2004, his troubles followed him to New York Presbyterian Hospital. That year, he faced disciplinary action from the New York State Board for Professional Medical Conduct. The reason? Engaging in sexual contact with patients under his care. The board took swift action, suspending his license in May and imposing a hefty $10,000 fine. However, this suspension was short-lived, lasting only 4 months. By September 2004, Dr. Cruciani's license was reinstated, but with strict limitations. He was prohibited from practicing medicine outside of the hospital setting and was barred from performing procedures without direct supervision. Additionally, he was mandated to participate in ethics and boundary-setting seminars. Despite these restrictions, the state board allowed him to continue seeing patients at the hospital. As you might expect, this incident sent shockwaves throughout the medical community. But perhaps the most distressing aspect was the knowledge that Dr. Krushian had used his position of power to exploit vulnerable patients. A few years later, in 2007, Dr. Krushian once again found himself in hot water. He was sued for allegedly sexually abusing a female patient during a lumbar puncture. While the details of the case remain sealed, it offers a glimpse into the troubling pattern of behavior that had become a disturbing hallmark of Dr. Krushian's career. Despite these repeated missteps, Dr. Krushian's career continued to thrive. He was appointed as the chairman of the Department of Neurology at Mount Sinai Beth Israel in 2008. His reputation as a skilled neurologist remained intact, and patients continued to seek his expertise. However, lurking beneath this seemingly successful career was a growing darkness. Fast forward to 2016, and a lawsuit filed by a former patient unveiled even more disturbing aspects of Dr. Krushian's behavior. Patricia Salan, a resident of Niagara, New York, accused him of sexually abusing her during a 2014 procedure. Alarmingly, this was not an isolated incident. Salan's lawsuit alleged that Dr. Cranston had a history of abusing female patients. The mere suggestion of such behavior was enough to send shockwaves through the medical community. However, this dark cloud hanging over Dr. Krushian's career did not diminish his prominence. In 2016, he was selected as the recipient of the Golden Apple Award for Excellence in Teaching at the Alpert Medical School of Brown University. Clearly, there was a disconnect between public perception of Dr. Krushian as an esteemed educator and the disturbing allegations being made against him. Tragically, it wasn't until February 2017 that the wheels of justice began to turn. Dr. Krushian's medical license was finally revoked by the New York State Board for Professional Medical Conduct. The charges against him were nothing short of appalling. The board found him guilty of committing forcible touching, engaging in sexual misconduct, and exhibiting gross negligence in the treatment of multiple patients. Shockingly, these were not isolated incidents, but rather a disturbing pattern of behavior exhibited by the disgraced doctor over a span of 2 decades. The board's decision to revoke Dr. Krushian's license was not based on the strength of a single allegation, but rather a mountain of evidence that pointed to a deeply troubling reality. The depth and pervasiveness of his misconduct were laid bare, leaving no room for doubt. Yet somehow, even in the face of such damning evidence, Dr. Krushian attempted to defend his actions. He expressed disbelief at the allegations made against him, stating, "I've devoted my life to healing others and helping those in need." Despite his protestations, the weight of the evidence was insurmountable. Dr. Krushian's career, once a shining example of success, now lay in ruins. The revocation of his license marked not just the end of his professional life, but also the collapse of a carefully constructed facade. As we reflect on this disturbing case, the question arises, how many more victims did Dr. Krushian harm before his crimes came to light? The answer may forever remain elusive, lost in the shadows of his deceit. The journey through the dark world of Dr. Krushian's crimes leaves us with a profound sense of unease. The chilling details of his abuse of power and the shocking extent of his misconduct serve as a stark reminder of the vulnerability we face when placing our trust in those we believe can do us good. As we grapple with the gravity of these events, one thing becomes clear: the road to healing and justice for his victims is just beginning.